This is RxISK.org, which was created 5 years ago with a philosophy that every drug has 100 effects. One that the companies want you to know about, and 99 that you're likely to experience and that you're the expert on. Here's a map of reports we've had of enduring sexual dysfunctions on a range of different drugs. These come from 37 different countries. Overall, we've had reports from more than half the countries on Earth. Adverse events on drugs are the greatest source of death and disability on the planet at the moment. But doctors aren't listening when you report these things. When people report enduring sexual dysfunction to them, they often say their doctors ridicule them. They just don't believe them. Why is this? Partly because we live in a world these days where controlled trials are held up as the place to get the best evidence about what a drug does. Your reports of what happens to you in a drug are often dismissed as anecdotal. The guidelines we have talk about the good things drugs do, not the harms. And the culture overall in which we operate these days is one where 40 years ago the harms that a drug could cause became known within a year or two of the drug being on the market. Now, 1 or 2 decades after a drug is on the market, the harms may still not be known. A lot of people feel that taking a report of an adverse event to a doctor is a bit like the man in Tiananmen Square facing up to the tanks. We've created risk reports, which gives you a piece of paper with a score as to whether the likelihood is that your adverse event is caused by your treatment or not. What we want you to do is to face up to the tanks. But you need to know that there's lots of doctors out there who, while they may not talk about the harms of drugs, recognize that medicine is about managing harms, and they really want to get back to the way medicine was once practiced. The other thing is we're in a changing world. It used to be expert doctors and patients who knew nothing, but now people who have no background in healthcare but access to the internet and the motivation to find out what's going on can come and teach a person like me who has a PhD in the serotonin system things about the serotonin system that I never knew. So there's a chance for doctors to move into a new world where rather than having the burden of 1,000 patients, they've got the thrill of having 1,000 researchers working for them if they can find a way to do it. And there's another thing here for doctors, which is that if drugs only do good and don't do harms, well, there are cheaper prescribers like nurses and pharmacists, and in the future there's going to be safer prescribers like robots, so they need to become experts in adverse events too. So what we're asking you to do is to take a risk report to the doctor and report back to us if they listen. And the way to report back is this: the doctor has to file a report on your adverse event too. If they don't do this, they're being nice to you, they may be listening, but they're not really listening. If we can get them to really listen, we can make a situation where together, working together, we're safer. Thank you. If you want to know more about the background to this campaign, there are related videos on PSSD and PGAD and a risk prize, which these are all aimed in the same direction, trying to make us safer together. Thank you.